Hi, and welcome to Reach Professional In-Home Tutoring's Education Specialist Training. All new and pre-existing education specialists must view this presentation in its entirety as a part of their initial and ongoing training. In this training, we will be discussing all parts of the in-home consultation that education specialists are sent out to complete on behalf of Reach. The first step is the consultation confirmation email. Upon receiving the email from one of our enrollment counselors or directly from a regional director or the company's owner, the education specialist must review the email thoroughly. Please take note of the parent's address and contact information, the scheduled appointment time, the quoted rate, and the subjects requested for tutoring. Call or email the parents to confirm your appointment and introduce yourself as the assigned ed specialist, known herein as ES. A phone call is best, but an email will also suffice. Upon arriving at the home where the child lives, please introduce yourself as a Reach Ed specialist. If you have a business card, please provide them with one. Explain that the purpose of the consultation is not to tutor the child, but is for you to get an idea of what has been going on with this student and to get them set up with our automatic billing procedures and explain our tutoring agreement or contract. Many parents have a misconception that you are there to tutor the child. You will want to address this immediately upon shaking their hand and introducing yourself. The child, depending on his or her age, should be present for, at the very least, the first part of the appointment while you are completing the student profile form. After the profile form is complete, you or the parents may excuse the child to discuss the tutoring agreement and the billing parts of the consultation. There is some very important paperwork that you are required to complete at each in-home consultation. The student profile form, the tutoring agreement, and the conference consent form. The student profile form is a digital form available in Pages for Mac computers or in Word for any computer. Please let your regional director know which file type you prefer. The tutoring agreement is something that you will receive hard copies of or a digital copy of that you must print and take with you to each consultation. Likewise, the conference consent form is also a hard copy piece of paper. The contracted amount that is quoted in the email will be charged the first week of the month, and the hours must be used in that month. This is mentioned throughout this training presentation because this is an area of great misunderstanding for our clients. We want all of our education specialists to be well versed in our billing procedures, able to answer questions that parents have, and thoroughly and explicitly be able to explain the procedures to parents to avoid misunderstanding. It is the job of the ed specialist to ensure that parents have understood the billing procedures. If you are not clear on anything involving the billing procedure or any of the paperwork mentioned in this presentation, please take a moment to clarify with your regional director. The first thing that you will complete upon sitting down with the parents and the child is the student profile form. This is what it looks like when it first comes to you, but note that the name of the regional director in the upper right corner may change depending on who your director is for that client. The student profile form is used by the regional directors to assign the best possible tutor for the child. The profile form must be typed and turned into the RD or regional director within 12 hours of completion of the consultation. Please save it with the student's full name in the title. Tutors are matched to students based on many factors. Parents might ask about this, so please be sure that you can explain. Factors for assigning tutors include the age and grade of the student and the subject area. We want to be sure we are assigning the tutor that is the best fit academically and has the best knowledge for the subjects. The student's personality and learning style are also considered when making matches between tutor and student. Any disabilities or other special considerations also come into play when the director is assigning the tutor. And finally, the requested schedule for tutoring is considered when assigning tutors to ensure that we do not assign a tutor that is not available at the days and times the parents would like. We will discuss that more in just a moment. We would like you to spend some quality time getting to know the student, their family situation, their educational history, and their personality so that you can be very thorough and explicit on the profile form, especially in the area where you are asked to describe the specific problems the student is having and the length of time the student has struggled with the subject. Now, we mentioned scheduling and a requested time by parents. At the very bottom of the tutoring profile form, you will see a box that says best days and times for tutoring. Please let parents know that every consideration will be made to accommodate their requests, but that stating this in the consultation does not ensure that this is their set schedule. Tutors are responsible for setting up a permanent schedule with parents at the end of the first session or on the phone when they make their initial appointment with the families. Next in the consultation is the explanation and completion of the tutoring agreement, also known as our contract. This is what the document looks like. You should have multiple copies of this printed out to take with you to your consultations. It's a good idea to always take several copies to any one consultation in case there are errors that are made or you make mistakes and cannot erase them. This should be filled out in pen as it is a binding agreement. Take some time to explain each of the items on the tutoring agreement that are typed out in the top half of the document. The term, chaperone, session rescheduling, tardiness, solicitation of tutors, and the terms. Be sure that you fully understand each part and can clearly explain them to the parents. These will be addressed thoroughly in the following slides. The first item on our contract, and possibly the most confused element of the contract, is the term. In other words, how the contract works, when it is cancelable, how to cancel, and how our billing works. Our tutoring agreement is a month-to-month agreement that renews on the first Monday of each month unless terminated in writing by the parents with a minimum of 14 days notice before the first Monday of the new month. An email to the regional director is sufficient written notice and will be forwarded to our customer service and billing departments. This includes extended vacations or leave of absences from REACH where parents do not wish to receive tutoring and we need to make a billing change. REACH does not make billing adjustments for single day holidays like Labor Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day, for example. A missed session on one of these one-day holidays will be made up by the tutor. However, we do give consideration and parents do often request time off and a billing revision during the months where there is spring break, Thanksgiving, and Christmas break. Many families also do not continue tutoring over the summer, but please do let parents know that we do offer summer tutoring and we have specially priced summer packages. So just how does REACH billing work? Well, on the first Monday of the month, the parents will be invoiced via email for either the 4 weeks or 5 weeks in that month. The number of weeks in a month is determined by the number of Mondays in the month. If you were to look at a calendar and the 31st is a Monday, that entire week is technically considered that month's billing week for REACH. So if it is July 31st, that falls on a Monday, even though much of the days in that week would be August dates, the entire week would technically be considered a July week. In those events, that often creates a 5-week month. There are only a few 5-week months each year. Within 3 to 5 business days of parents being emailed the invoice, the credit card they have on file will be charged the full invoiced amount for tutoring. If there is an error on the billing, or there is any specially requested time off, or the parents request to cancel services completely or take an extended leave of absence, they must email their regional director and or customer service immediately upon receiving the invoice in their email inbox to notify us. Once a card is charged 3 to 5 days later, there are no refunds. Please note this important information and be ready to thoroughly explain this and be proactive in doing so at your consultations. This is often a great source of conflict with parents as they do not understand how our billing works. Reach does not provide on-demand or pay-as-you-go tutoring. We do not offer rollover hours where parents simply rack up hours owed, roll them over to the next month, and ask us not to bill them that next month. The contracted amount will be charged the first week of the month, and hours must be used in that month. However, if a parent is unable to reschedule sessions with the tutor in that calendar month, we will allow them the next calendar month to make up the hours. It is the job of the education specialist to ensure that parents understand all REACH billing procedures. And once again, if you are not clear on something, or if you have any questions, especially during a consultation, please take a moment to clarify with the regional director. The next section on the REACH tutoring agreement is regarding a chaperone. A parent or guardian over the age of 18 must be present the entire time of the tutoring session while the tutor is in the parent's home. An older brother or sister does not qualify even if that person is over 18, as they are not a legal parent or guardian. The session will terminate immediately if a parent or guardian leaves the premises for any reason or any amount of time. The tutors will be paid for the full hour, and the time missed will not be made up. There are no exceptions to this rule. Next is session rescheduling. Parents need to notify their tutors directly if they need to reschedule a tutoring session. The tutor will provide the parents with their contact information, including email and cell phone number. Parents should make every attempt to notify the tutor directly before contacting the regional director regarding the need to reschedule or cancel a session. All sessions must be made up within that calendar month, but can also be made up in the next calendar month if the first option is not doable. After the following calendar month, however, the section will expire. Tutors are very creative in making up their sessions. Many will add 30 minutes to the end of 2 regular sessions to make up a missed hour, or add 15 minutes to the next 4 sessions to make up a missed hour. Tutors can also go tutor for an hour on a completely separate day, and in the case of much older students in high school and in college, tutors will often do a 2-hour session, that is a regular scheduled session, butted up right against an hour of makeup time. Parents must request rescheduling or cancel within 24 hours, or at least 24 hours prior, except in the case of illness or emergency. If a child wakes up at 8 a.m. and is ill, and the tutor is due to tutor at 4 p.m., of course we understand that is not 24 hours notice. But please relay to parents that every opportunity they have to communicate with the tutor and be proactive is appreciated. The next step is tardiness. When a tutor arrives for a scheduled session at a parent's home and nobody is there, or the student is present but a legal parent or guardian is not, the tutor is authorized to wait only 15 minutes and then leave the premises. During that 15-minute time, tutors will not enter the home and will attempt to reach a parent via telephone or text. If the parents are reachable, it is up to the tutor's discretion upon discussing the issue with the parents and determine the action based on that information as to whether or not they will wait and tutor the remainder of the time on the clock, or will leave and reschedule the entire hour, or will leave and reschedule only part of the session. When a student and or parents do arrive, the session will begin. However, the official start time of the session was the original scheduled time and the tutor's arrival time, and will only continue for contracted length. So for example, let's say Jane Doe arrives at the parents' home to tutor little Johnny. The parents are not home. It is 4 p.m. The tutor was supposed to tutor from 4 to 5 o'clock. The tutor is able to get a hold of the parents, and they say that they will be there by 4:20. So the tutor decides to wait. The parents arrive at 4:20. The tutor enters the home with Johnny and the parents, and the session begins. The session should end promptly at 5 p.m. and will not go until 5:20 p.m. The solicitation of reach tutors by the parent is strictly forbidden, and there is a hefty fee if parents do this. Reach spends a lot of time, money, and energy recruiting the best teachers in California to work with our students. The solicitation of tutors is described as a parent engaging in a conversation with a tutor to tutor a child within the home without Reach's knowledge or consent. This is basically considered poaching. Any communication of this nature will be dealt with by the director, and tutors are encouraged to notify the director if parents broach this subject with them. Parents have been known to approach tutors requesting private tutoring by the tutor so that the tutor can earn more hourly than they are currently making at Reach, and the parents can save money. This cuts Reach entirely out of the picture and costs us revenue. Parents will be fined $500 if they do this. It is also good to note that tutors have a clause in their agreement as well that could end them up in court with up to $2,500 in damages if they are caught working with a Reach student outside of the Reach agreement. And finally, the last item to discuss is our terms. We no longer accept checks. The billing department will attempt to charge the card on file 2 to 3 times during the first 2 weeks of the month. If the card is still not working and is not chargeable by the 25th of the month, the parents will be notified and may be charged a $25 fee. Oftentimes, what happens is that parents get a new card from their bank or credit card company, and they forget that Reach is on a pre-authorized automatic charge with them, and they forget to notify Reach of the new card information. Please remind parents to call Reach if they get a new card number. At the very bottom of the contract, there is some written work that needs to be done by the ed specialist and or the parents. Ed specialists must either physically write the card number onto the form, or if they allow the parents to complete the bottom of the form, the ed specialist must physically see the card to verify the written card number. There have been issues where a card number is not correct by 1 or 2 digits, or the expiration date was not written down, and Reach has a hard time charging the card. The hourly rate that you would write in is the quoted rate listed in the consultation confirmation email. Now, this is the part that many ed specialists have trouble with. You will be calculating the 4-week and 5-week billing amounts. To do this, you will multiply the number of hours per month by the hourly rate. If the child, for example, is receiving 1 hour per week, in a 4-week month, that would be 4 hours. In a 5-week month, that would be 5 hours. You would multiply those monthly hours of either 4 or 5 by the hourly rate. If the child is going to receive 2 hours a week, then a 4-week month would include 8 hours, and a 5-week month would include 10 hours, and so on. Sometimes Reach runs special promotions that are visible on our Yelp page and also our website. Hopefully, the parent will mention the special or the promotion that they would like to use during the call with the enrollment counselor, and the enrollment counselor should put that information into the consultation confirmation email. Please do not mention that we have a special or promotion going on if you are aware of any, but do do take into consideration if the parent mentions it. If they mention a special or promotion and it is not listed in the email that you have received, we will likely honor it. Simply contact the regional director immediately to confirm the validity of the promotion. The RD can also let you know how to write that information onto the tutoring agreement. If the parents have any physical coupons or a printout from our website showing the promotion, please collect that and include that with the paperwork that you send to the regional director. And finally, the very last thing you'll want to do is request the parent's permission for the tutor to contact the child's teacher using our school conferencing consent form. On the left is an example of the elementary school conferencing consent form, and on the right is for students in middle and high school or students with multiple teachers. The forms are identical except for the fact that the one for use by middle and high school students has a spot for math, science, social science, and language arts teachers. If there is another teacher the parent would like us to contact, there is some space on the front of the form to add the subject name and the teacher's name. Typically, tutors only will contact school teachers when absolutely necessary or upon a parent's request to do so. Typically, with middle and high school students, tutors will only contact the teacher for the subjects they are working with the student in. So if little Johnny is receiving tutoring in Algebra 2, there really would not be a need for the tutor to contact the Spanish teacher. Parents do not have to write all of the teachers' names on the middle school and high school form if they do not wish. In fact, it is usually best only to write the names of the teachers that teach the subjects that REACH is being contracted to provide tutoring services in. Here are some final notes. In closing the consultation, please be sure to thank the parents for their time and let them know that you really appreciate them choosing REACH. We understand that they have a lot of options when considering the tutoring that they would like to provide their child, and REACH is honored that they have selected and entrusted us. Be sure that all paperwork is signed and in order and dated by the parents. Also, please be sure that you have completed the student profile form in its entirety. Offer the parents the opportunity to scan or take a photo of their contract and let them know that upon request, a copy of their contract can be emailed to them. We prefer not to do this since credit card numbers are on them, however. It is much better if they take a photo or a digital scan of their contract before the ed specialist leaves the home. Please let the parents know that the tutor will be in touch to introduce himself or herself and to set up the first tutoring session. If you have possession of the regional director's business card, please provide one or two to the parents. If not, please simply provide them the regional director's contact information. Please take note of any questions the parents have that you were unable to answer, and immediately upon leaving, be sure to call the director responsible for that client to ask those questions. Thank you so much for choosing to be an ed specialist with REACH Professional In-Home Tutoring. We value the job that you do. You are often the first physical person that the parents and the student meet, so we appreciate your professionalism and your kindness while visiting them in their home. Please don't hesitate to ask your director any questions should they arise. Thank you again.